Hi, fashion dolls. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, fashion dolls, let me share this to our beautiful, very beautiful special guest today, Lanita Harris. Let me go ahead and share this with her. Oh my goodness, my phone is just buzzing and going off the hook. Welcome, welcome, fashion dolls. It is Wednesday, January 19th, and our very special guest today is from Minnesota. She is absolutely beautiful. She is an actress, singer, and songwriter. Joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, Lanita Harris. All right, let me add her. Uh-oh. Give me 1 second. Hello, hello.
Hey,
Welcome.
yes, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, girl.
Yes. So how have you been
How
today?
wonderful. How are you
I
doing?
am doing well, just running around, but doing well. Absolutely.
It is wonderful to have you here. So we are now in 2022. We're now in the new
Yes.
year. So what is it like for you? What is the experience of being into this new year? Anything you wanted to put out there in the universe and manifest?
Listen, this year I definitely want to produce one film thing, even if it's a short film, even if it's something that's small, that's here, that's local, because I'm thinking that I want to do a little bit more with acting and not just be an actress. So I'm trying to try my hands behind the scenes to see if I like it. If I like it, then wonderful. But if I don't, then it'll be one and done. It'll be one and done. So, but yeah, that's what I'm doing this year. I've got my podcast that I'm launching the first episode of season 3 next Wednesday. So I'm really excited about that. I typically I've done some certain type of content, but on this season, it's going to be. Woo, I'm just excited for people to hear this season because it's going to be not necessarily a strong departure from what I have done, but it's definitely going to be a little bit different, a little bit different. So I'm excited about that.
All right, all right. So you guys definitely stay tuned. All right, so you began acting at 5 years old?
Kind of. I mean, technically, I was in my first play at 5, but acting professionally, I actually just started that about 5 years ago. Actually, this is actually the beginning of the 6 years. This is the beginning of the sixth year. So I started in 2016, and but I I figured out that I really, really liked acting in high school when I was a freshman in high school and I auditioned for this play that we had in our youth group. We would do a youth camp every year, and we would always do like a play. And so I auditioned and I got the lead role. And I knew then that I really loved it because I was spending time learning my lines and not doing my homework. So I really was into acting and I just decided to pursue it later because what I really wanted to do was sing. So I pursued singing for a while before I actually decided to pursue acting.
Okay, okay. So who was some of your musical inspiration? Who was some of your favorite
Oh my
singers?
God, Yolanda Adams. Listen, I don't know that lady, but she is my auntie. Do you hear me? She is my auntie in my mind. So
Mhm.
Yolanda Adams, obviously Whitney Houston. Oh my gosh, such a great voice. CeCe Winans, Fred Hammond. I listened to a lot of Fred Hammond growing up. So I grew up in church, and so a lot of my favorite artists are going to be in the gospel arena. I loved Mary Mary. Oh my God, I used to jam to Mary Mary. So yeah, those are my people.
Okay, okay. So acting, we're gonna go back to
Hmm.
acting. If you could collaborate with any actor or actress, what first mind would come to you? What name would come to you?
Angela Bassett. Angela
Mm,
Bassett is amazing, absolutely amazing, and so hopefully that's somewhere in the cards for me in the future. I'd absolutely love to work with her. I worked with her husband on Project Power. He was my lieutenant on Project Power. And so it was really, really cool. He's a very, very nice man. Courtney B. Vance, very, very nice man. And it was a wonderful experience. So hopefully I can work with her.
All right, and you auditioned. One thing people don't know about you is that you also auditioned for American Idol in 2010.
I did.
What was that experience like for you? Because I know the competition was fierce.
Listen. Oh, okay. So 2010, I auditioned, did not make it anywhere. Because like, so American Idol, there's like 3 rounds before you even get to the judges. And so I was in the first round right there in the stadium in Milwaukee. Baby, I sung my heart out. And the people were like, thank you. I said, oh, is this it? This is it. So I tried and tried again, and I actually made it to Hollywood it was the 2012 season of American Idol. I made it to Hollywood, and I got to Hollywood, and see, I had a goal that I knew I was good enough to make it to the judges. So I wanted to make it to the judges, and then I made it past the judges, and I was like, I'm not sure. I don't have a plan here. And so when I made it to Hollywood, it was a lot of singing all around me, all the time. It was crazy. It was hectic. It was an experience I shall never forget, for sure, for sure.
Definitely, when you get that golden ticket, it's an experience that everyone wants to jump up and celebrate and rejoice. Like they say, you're going to Hollywood. It's just overwhelming.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was incredible, that feeling. And at that year it was Jennifer Lopez, Randy, and Steven Tyler. They were the judges. And so it was amazing just being in the room with them, in front of them. And I was like, I mean, because I'm just, I'm from a little old small town, and uh it was just an amazing experience, for sure.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about
Hmm.
acting. We know, just recently we had an award show not too long ago, and we've seen a lot of actresses get nominated for some things. Congratulations to MJ Rodriguez. We still see a push with both of us as Black women, and I want to hear your perspective on this as well too. What are your thoughts on diversity and inclusion? And I know there's another issue that involves Black women as well too, where we don't get enough pay. So what are
Mm,
your thoughts on that?
I do appreciate that in recent years, there's been more people taking a stance, and with more people taking a stance that actually have the power to do something about it. They're using their platform, they're using their reputation to demand higher pay or equal pay. And I really, really appreciate that, because I really believe that diversity and inclusion is something that's very, very important, because it's important to see yourself represented on screen, um, so that you can have a dream to pursue it. And it takes somebody opening a door for you that already has access to the door. And so I really love that I've been seeing more diversity in different projects. Mindy Kaling has a project on Netflix called Never Have I Ever. And I really enjoyed
Mhm.
seeing the diversity in that, because it's the world that we live in, right? It's the world that we live in. It's not just one thing. And so that's where I am on that. And I'm loving it. If I try my hand at this production thing and I like it this year, then in the future, I definitely will be one to open doors for others. So,
Yes, and beautiful, beautiful explanation of that. Because you said in the beginning of the interview you want to try, to tap into your directing and producing skills. There's a lot of women directors and
yeah,
producers out here. I mean, Regina King,
yes,
Issa Rae, Ava DuVernay, and the list goes
yes,
on and on. Shonda Rhimes, like these women are the
yeah,
powerhouses out here,
absolutely.
and it's definitely an obstacle getting into this industry is so being with it so male dominated.
Hmm.
How's it been for you? Because it's been challenging for
You
us
know,
as women of color.
so what's very interesting, I have my transition from just regular life into acting was actually a very smooth, very easy transition. I went to training at a school called it was called John Robert Powers at the time in New Orleans,
Hmm.
and I was there for about a year. And then I just happened to have a friend up here in the city that I live in who was doing a project, and he knew a director, and it was a small, just like a small short film with just local people. But when I got there, I was in the company of other actors who already had an agent. And so I just was chopping it up one day with one of those, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you think I'm good enough to be represented?" He was like, "Absolutely, and you're cool. Here's my agent's information. Tell her I sent you." And it went from there. So literally, I sent an email. My agent is a female, and so she is absolutely amazing. So having a female agent is a really large blessing, because there's some things that she understands, that maybe a male wouldn't understand. And so
Would not.
yeah, and so
Mm-hmm.
she works really, really hard for all of her talent, but and especially for me. And I'm just incredibly grateful, because I mean, it could have been a different way. I could have had a terrible struggle, but for me, I just didn't. It was there. She took me on as a trial client, and then from there, I booked the first thing I ever auditioned for, which was a commercial, and it's just been on from there.
You also booked Get On Up, which is the story of James
Uh-huh.
Brown, and it features, in some cases, the late Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
What was your memory of him being on set with him during this amazing
He
project?
was very kind. He was very kind, spoke with him and Dan Aykroyd, and they both were very, very kind. That was actually my first experience on a set. It was the first thing. Like, a friend of mine sent me this. It was because it was an open call there or something. It was something like that, and I went for it, and I didn't hear anything. But then, literally like 2 months later, I got a phone call. I had just started a new job and everything, and I was like a week into my new job, and I got the phone call from that casting director that was like, "Hey, can you be in Natchez in 2 days?" I was like, oh, let me talk to my manager. And so my manager at that time was wonderful, and she let me off to film for 2 days, and it was incredible. That was the first time being there on that set, was the first time I ever felt like I was home in a job. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like it was a job. It just felt like freedom. And I had, at that time, that was 2013. I think that was the end of 2013ish, and I was 27. So I started acting late. So like I don't even have the story of people being able to be in the industry for a while. Like, I started this journey late, and being there on that set, I had a lot of jobs between age 16 and 27, but that was the first time I was like, oh, this is it. I belong here. And I didn't even feel like that with singing. When I was there for American Idol, I didn't feel like I belonged in that aspect of the entertainment industry. And so I'm just really, really grateful that I found acting, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful, tremendously wonderful experience for me thus far.
Shout outs to Tony J, who's also an actor, and also shout outs to, let me see, I've seen the comment. Someone said nice top. Keitra Fashion Page says, hi, Lanita.
Hey!
Shout outs to everyone that is viewing. We are here with our girl, the beautiful Lanita Harris. We're just having some girl talk, chopping it
Yes.
up. Um, you said Angela Bassett. When I think of Angela Bassett, it's funny you mentioned her. The first thing I think of is What's Love Got to Do with It? And I think of some of the
Yes.
amazing roles that she's done throughout her career span. If you could play a bio of any singer, any songwriter, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. This is something I've never thought about. I have never, gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Now I feel pressured. I don't know. I do not know. And I'm drawing a blank. I don't I have no idea who I would play. I have no idea. And I think that it's really, really hard to play like a living legend, right? Like that. I feel
Yes.
I feel I feel tremendous pressure. I can't imagine what if Angela Bassett was under pressure for What's Love Got to Do with It, because I mean, we're talking about Tina Turner here, right? That, I mean, she's absolutely amazing, but just reading different stories about the training that she put herself through just to get prepared for that, I'm like, Jesus. And that's what I think of as well. When I think of Angela Bassett, I think of What's Love Got to Do with It, because she was absolutely phenomenal. And it takes a certain kind of skill, I believe, to really bring someone else's life to a screen and really embody them. You know what I mean? And so I haven't even thought about that. We'll see. We'll see what happens later on in my career. We'll see who I play.
It'll
Listen,
happen.
I
It
believe
definitely will. Tony says, I can't sing. Count me out.
Listen.
All right, Fashion Dolls. It is time. We are going to get into 2 games with our girl, Lanita Harris, and then we're going to get into some questions from the audience as well, too. So the first game is called the Rapid 5. And Lanita, she has to tell us 5 things that she can't live without.
5 things that I can't live without. God, music, people, my laptop, and food. Oh my God, I love food. So those are the 5.
Me too, girl. I'm a foodie.
Listen,
too.
I don't really cook, but baby, I will eat. Do you hear me? I love to eat. So yeah, those are my 5.
Daniel better be one.
Yes. Look, that's Keitra. I love Keitra. Keitra has styled me for a few things that I've done. So I love Keitra. And Daniel, she's talking about my husband. Daniel is a cook. So my husband,
All right.
he cooks. So he's the chef. And he's tuning in too. He is that's King Daniel that's on here. So thanks, babe. Oh, look. Hey, Allison. Hey, Journey with Allison. That's my sister, Allison. Hey. Now she cooks.
Welcome.
That lady cooks.
Welcome.
She really cooks. So, but go ahead.
And it's a Southern thing too. You're from Minnesota. I'm from South Carolina. So it's a Southern thing. You know, Southern girls, we love to eat. We love to eat. It's a Southern thing.
Listen, I love to eat now.
All right, Fashion Dolls. The next game is called What Does She Think About This Actress? So I'm going to throw out some names of some very well-known actresses, and you give me the first word that comes to your mind. All right, so we're going to start off with Taraji P Henson.
I can do battle by myself. Just that's the first thing that comes to my mind. She was absolutely brilliant in that. That was where I found out she could sing. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so she is an incredibly talented and brilliant actress. Just crazy talented. So that's the immediate thing that I think of. I loved her performance in that. I watched that film too many times to actually count. Because I loved her performance so very much.
All right, the second actress is Tracee Ellis Ross.
Girlfriends. Listen, I love, oh my gosh. She's absolutely beautiful. Girlfriends is the first thing that comes to my mind for her. Strangely enough, Girlfriends is the first thing that comes to my mind and not Blackish. But I mean, she's absolutely amazing. But I was introduced to Tracee Ellis Ross. Listen, Joan Clayton, if I remember her name correctly, that was Joan Clayton on Girlfriends. And oh my gosh, it's just a wonderful show. She was absolutely wonderful as Joan. So that's what comes to my mind.
All right, the next actress is Lupita Nyong'o.
Us. It was that was something to I don't even know. I mean, just the way that she went into this strange guttural voice when she was becoming like the doppelganger, like she was the doppelganger and she was herself, just the dynamics that she had to go through. It was absolutely incredible. So I think of that, and when her face was like this and that one tear fell, there was no blink, it was just a tear. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's what comes to my mind with her.
And fast fact for those of you who do not know, she said she literally had to detox herself from this character.
Really?
She literally had to detox herself from this character. And I asked the actor that on my show, he did a show called Fatal Attraction on TV1. And he said, I asked him, I said, did you ever find yourself trying to get out of character, like come back to your real self?
Yeah.
Like, you're still in character, like come back to yourself now. You're not in
Yeah,
character
yeah,
anymore. Like she literally said she had to go and detox this character out of herself. Because
yeah.
I know going into character, it's like in a trance. You literally are having an out of body
Yeah, and
experience.
especially that type of experience when you have to play two different people and they're drastically different, like the depth of your soul that you have to go into to even bring that out. I listen, I didn't know that she had to detox, but understandably so for sure.
Exactly. All right, the next actress is Lanita Harris.
Oh, oh man. The first thing that comes to my mind with my own name is new and excited. That's the first thing that comes into my mind. New and excited, and I'm ready. I really just want to see where my career goes, man. You know what I mean? Like as an actress, I just want to see where it goes. And I can't imagine the wonderful things that await me. And so I'm looking forward to getting there.
And one thing I love about you too is that you are very spiritual. You are in tune. You are manifested. I do vision
Mm,
boards, and it's like everything that I create on this vision board for this year, um, it's like it's
yeah,
manifesting. It's coming full
yeah,
circle, and I'm a firm believer of
yeah.
manifestation. What you put out there in the universe is what you get back in return, full
Absolutely.
circle.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I am, I can attest to that for sure because there are so many things that I'm living now that, look, I put on a board years ago. Um, I am more of a feeler. I'm more of a sensor type person. And so vision boards, I've tried that in the past and I know they work for the Saints. I know they do. But for me, I write down my goals in first person, and that is really like I write them down like I'm already living them. And so it's just a very surreal moment to come into actually living them when it was only something that you wrote down on a piece of paper for me. And so I go by what I sense on the inside. If I can sense it, I don't have to see it. I believe that it will come into being. And
No.
so that's me.
Yes. Keitra Fashion underscore page says, baby, she can sing.
Thank you, Keitra.
All right, fashion dolls, do we have any questions for Lenita or myself? This was such an amazing girl talk. And my next question for you is, while the audience are getting their question together, is what's next for Lenita in her career? Because in the beginning you said production, and I totally could see you doing more. We need more, especially women of color producers out
Yeah,
here. That's we hardly see it except for the representation like Issa Rae
yeah,
and
yeah,
uh Regina King and Ava DuVernay and so many others, to follow along.
yeah.
So what is next for Lanita in her career?
That's gonna be it, man. Trying my hand at behind the scenes to see exactly how I fare with that and if I like it, because again, I want to be one of the people that's opening those doors. Like I want to be on the other side. I want to have a great script. I want to be able to put new actors, new actresses in things and get them out there. Like that's something that I want to do because I love people. Like when I said earlier, one of the things I can't live without is people. That's true because I genuinely love and value people. And there are so many people out there, man, that they just need somebody to believe in them. They just need one shot. There are so many people that they have a lot of training, they have a
Yes.
lot of ambition, and they just need one good shot, and then they're going to take off like a rocket. And so I want to be one of those people who opens the door for somebody else. So that's what's next for me. Opening doors, being the door
Yes.
opener.
Keitra Fashion Page. That's right. All right. Keitra Fashion Page says that was my question. What's next? I'm sorry, Keitra. I didn't know. Please forgive me. You do we have any other questions for Lanita or myself? Ladies and gentlemen, this was such a great
Yes.
conversation, and your spirit is beautiful, your
Thank
energy
you.
is
Yours
beautiful,
too.
and this is what we need in the
Yeah.
industry.
Yours too.
Definitely.
Yours too. I so appreciate you for having me and sharing your platform. such kindness that you've shown me, and I really appreciate that.
You are so welcome, and I definitely would love to have you back on in the future. We're waiting on the audience to chime in and give us some questions. I know your hubby and your sis and everybody out there is watching, and they got questions.
Yeah, come on with the questions, guys.
Do we
Oh,
have
thank
any
you,
fashion
Keisha.
dog? Oh, we got one from Michael. What genre of film would you like to try?
Comedy. I would like to try comedy because in real life, I'm a very animated person, but I've never, like all the projects that I've been a part of, I've never done comedy. It's always been drama. So I'd like to try my hand at comedy.
What comedian would you like to work with?
Ooh. I like Tiffany Haddish. I think that she's very
Oh, yeah.
fun, like just very, very cool. I think that she would be a very lively person to work with, right? I just feel like there'd be a lot of laughs, just on screen and off the screen. There's a lot of laughs.
All right, fashion dolls. Any more questions? Keep them coming. I asked that question because I had Tommy Davidson on the show,
Oh,
and it was so difficult to keep a straight face through the entire interview. I called my mama before. I said, "Mama, I cannot. I can't." And he said something. He broke out in one of his characters that he did on The Living
oh my
Color, and I
gosh.
just couldn't resist it. Yeah,
Oh man, I bet that was just a hilarious experience. Like,
it was so
because I feel
funny.
like if you when you're around a comedian, like it's just rolling off, and it's just who they are. Funny and fun is just who they are, and you can't keep a straight face. How can you keep a straight face?
I was trying to be so professional and, answer my questions to him and
Yes,
stuff. We were talking about his book because he also wrote a book as well. And next thing you know, when we shifted to Living Color, he broke out into one of his characters and I
yes.
cracked. I cracked. I couldn't.
You can't. Listen, I would have cracked too. Anybody would have cracked. He's hilarious.
Yes, and Tiffany Haddish as well. They both are. When the thing is, when you're doing comedy, I think it was Jackie from
Mm-hmm.
227. She said the thing about comedy is timing, and when you're doing comedy, it's always going to be someone on set that's going to be doing something funny behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes, and that's where the action really happens behind the scenes when not the cameras are not
Yeah.
rolling. It's even funnier.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, it's that timing piece. I want to try my hand at timing because I'm just animated and random in real life. And when I'm telling stories about different things that have happened to me or what I experienced, people are typically laughing, but I've never tried to work on a timing type thing. So I'd definitely like to try comedy to see how it would be with that. That would be cool for sure.
it's definitely versatile. Get into it. All
Yes.
right. Fashion dolls. Do we have any more questions for Lanita before we wrap up this amazing conversation? 4 p.m. coming up. We have actor JP Piernes also joining us. So you guys are getting two shows today,
Yes.
not one, but two. So yes. Shout outs to Michael J. Shout outs to everyone viewing. Thank you all so much for coming
Yes.
in.
Thank you.
Before we conclude this interview, Lanita, is there any encouraging words that you'd like to give to young Black women who are watching this interview, who are looking to get into this industry and do the things that we do, whether it's on the side of journalism or becoming an actress or a singer? What advice would you give to these young women that look up to you?
Know who you are before before you embark on the journey of the entertainment industry. Know who you
Mm,
are, know what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And do not do anything that you're going to regret later, or don't do anything that you won't be able to look at yourself in the mirror afterwards. Because listen, if you have to compromise your self value and your self worth, your self confidence, if you have to compromise that to get anywhere, it's not worth it. It's not.
come on. because I've seen so many girls get caught up. And to add on to what you just said, I've seen so many girls in this industry get caught up, you know, with the glitz and the glamour and everything. And they figure they have to do all of these things just to be on top, to be that actress, to be the next
Yeah,
Angela, to be the next Taraji, to be the next anything. We see what women in the industry have to go through just to get that title. We notice we're in an industry that is full of
yeah,
misogyny, and we have to work twice times as hard to have that staying power.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
yeah,
then with the entertainment industry, man, you're just gonna be, it's a different world. You are going to be invited into some interesting spaces, and you really have to know who you are so that you can stay true to who you are, because we've seen so many stories of people who did not know who they were, and they wound up becoming something that they maybe wish they had not become. So it's important,
absolutely.
highly important, to know who you are, to know who you are. Yeah.
And mostly importantly, ladies, love yourself. Self-love is the best. We're in an industry where it's all about the beauty aspect of it. So
Yes.
make sure you love yourself.
Yes, that is your relationship with yourself is the first and most important relationship in your life, because if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, you're not going to be able to have great relationships with the people around you. So, yes, love yourself, have a great relationship with yourself, value yourself, because if you don't, I'm not going to say no one else will, but I will say that it's going to be hard for other people to value you if you don't value yourself, because you're not going to be coming to the table with a minimum standard or a minimum level of expectation. And when you don't have a minimum level of expectation, anything kind of goes. You know what I mean? So, self love, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you took something from this amazing interview and conversation with the beautiful Lanita
Yes.
Harris. Thank you all, and I will see you again at 4 p.m. And thank you, Lanita, for coming
Thank
on.
you
I
for
would
having
love to
me.
speak with you again in the future.
Absolutely.
You are so welcome. Take care, fashion dolls. We will see you again at 4. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Take care,
You
girl.
too.